Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. This week we're going to go over the M13 spoilers so far, and we've got some goodies. Now before we get to the big mythics, let's talk about some fun new cards. Up first is the pair of Knight of Glory and Knight of Infamy. Now talk about value. Back in the day, we had to pay 2 mana of that color for a 2/2, and it didn't even pump itself. Also, uphill, both ways. But these guys, oh man, these guys are so weak. White Knight eat your heart out. The Knights of Glory and Infamy. I mean, did you see that artwork? Wow. These guys get the job done. I actually expect them to replace my Knight of Stromgald-esque creatures in the cube. As it turns out, creatures really have gotten a bit better in recent times. How about a card that just needs a few tokens to do silly things? While he's no hero of Bladehold, Audric Master Tactician is just fantastic. If you're bashing in, this has to be the most ridiculous ability possible. You'll tell them who is blocking and how they block. And here I have this 3/4 first striker saying what's going on. Alright then, the only negative aspect of Audric is, of course, the usuals. A, you need guys on the board, and B, you need to swing with all those guys and Audric, and they need to leave up guys who weren't attacking the turn before. Sometimes these ands add up to nevers. Moving on, how about that Serra Avatar reprint? You know, I feel like the awkwardness of creature power creep is really prevalent in the reprints. I mean, look at that mana cost. Look at Elishnorn. I know, 14 years difference, but it also means the kid who thinks Serra Avatar is the coolest thing ever may be outclassed by almost every recent Mythic 7-drop. I love and champion cool reprints, but this one is really showing its age. I mean, look at its white Mythic counterpart. Sublime Angel? Ain't nothing sublime about this girl. She means business. While Audric was a cute and sometimes clever addition to a token deck, Sublime Archangel is a friggin' sledgehammer to the face of your opponent. Count the number of guys I have and get that bonus for free. Just wow. This girl ends games quickly. There's a reason she has 3 toughness, because she needs to die immediately to an Incinerate-esque spell, or your opponent will be chumping their way into sideboarding for the next game very quickly. Now, next up is one of my favorite new cards, Archaeomancer. There are few men who love that wily Azet Chronarch as much as me, but making it cheaper and monocolored and common? Why, sure. Common cubes all over the world just rejoiced. I don't think this guy has a ton of room to hang out in Standard, but he really brings a very interesting and wonderful aspect to limited games. Or you can just imagine him as really, wait for it, really bad Snapcaster Mage. Thanks for that one, Watsy. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. The next report announces the removal of an existing powerhouse. With Clone back in the core set, we can safely say goodbye to Phantasmal Image. Oh, Phantasmal Image, we hardly knew you. While it took a week or 2 to catch on, Phantasmal Image is now universally revered as the best clone ever printed and has done some incredibly heavy lifting in Standard. I don't think Clone will be doing quite so much. Next up is another in the rare legend meets its related uncommon duo in Talrand's Sky Summoner and Talrand's Invocation. While Mona the Unhallowed is sweet, I think I'd rather have 2 evasive 2/2s at the expense of 4 mana. 4 power flyers for 4 mana across 2 bodies, crazy powerful and limited, and for a legend that has an ability that urges you to play lots of instants and sorceries, much like that other blue card in Standard that's kind of the best creature ever printed. Moving on. Probably my favorite card in the set, Murder. Mother freaking Murder. I am so ridiculously happy this card exists. 1-word title, 3 words rules text. Kill it, dead. While Destroy Target Creature has been bannered about for years, it has never existed by itself. The closest has been Terminate, which added the non-regeneration clause. And me, I don't miss that clause at all. Because when I murder something, you best believe it will stay dead. Oh man, this card is just perfect. The casting cost is also very interesting to me. We've seen Dark Vanishing come back to the game from time to time, and while it's better than Murder, it isn't in a ton of flavorful, long-lasting, murderous ways. Yes, it's a bit weird how excited I get about Murder, but come on! This is the perfect example of a beautiful and simple Magic card that I want in the core set. Alright, moving on, Vampire Nocturnus is back. Now, on his first lap around Standard, he actually did some serious work. Many players may not remember how incredibly powerful +2/+1 and Flying are when you're lucky enough to have a black card on top. But let me tell you, it wins games and can win tournaments like it did in January 2010 in Dallas. What powerful black card could you possibly use to shuffle your deck over and over? Oh, that's right, Liliana. of the Dark Realms. Thank you very much. Now this girl is awesome. Let's discuss. First, I want to get this straight. Liliana has 4 abilities. Her first ability is, for a control deck, an absolute blessing. There is no control deck on the planet that doesn't want to ensure it draws a land every single turn. Every turn a guaranteed land drop is just perfect. But her second ability, or rather her second and third abilities, are 2 sides of the same coin. One pumps and the other destroys. These should be respected equally because they can both solve and create problems for your opponent. If they have some ridiculously huge fatty, down it goes. If you have a lifelinker, guess I'll just gain infinite your turn. This allows you to Alpha Strike, allows you outs to any non-hexproof creature the moment you play her, and the only real downside of this Liliana is that she only gets 1 use out of this ability when she's first cast. Well, excuse me. Do you want me to bring out my Liliana 1.0? I mean, seriously? Couldn't protect herself from the slightest and a +1 that is mad best? This girl is being undervalued mainly because we're not in Ravnica yet. Note that she says a swamp card. Now, I don't know if WotC could possibly advertise Shocklands are returning more with cards like this and the green land ramp spells, but remember, when your 3-color deck is using Liliana to get any of those colors and gaining loyalty beyond that, you're going to be very pleased. As for the Lake of the Dead ability, well, it's a lot of mana. I mean, you got Consume Spirit and probably some other crazy X-Black spell we haven't even seen yet. Honestly, the ultimate on Liliana doesn't do much for me, but her other 3 abilities sure do. Moving on, we look at the red cards. Chandra 3.0 is back to, not be that great and stuff. I mean, can we please get a sweet red, hell, anything mythic? So we just got Bonfire of the Damned. And beyond that, there is Koth, Inferno Titan, and that's it. 20 mythic rares over the past 3 years, and only 3 of them were serious standard contenders. And Koth didn't even last that long. Hero of Oxford Ridge was relevant for about 3 seconds, and Inferno Titan is finally leaving us. So now we have a more ridiculously expensive, silly mythic. But that doesn't mean I, too, don't dream of Riftbolt, World Flame, or cast it with Keldon Marauders on the battlefield. Meanwhile, we got ourselves some renamings. I personally prefer Arc Lightning. The Flames of the Firebrand is a simple renaming of a kick-ass spell. Krenko is actually a pretty sweet goblin, and his command is another retelling of Dragon Fodder. Searing Spear doesn't quite have the ring of Incinerate to it, now does it? GG, Regeneration Clause. Now, a moment of silence. Shatter. Yep, took him about 15 years, but Smelt officially power creeped Shatter into 1 less mana in the core set. So at this rate, we'll have a 1 green mana naturalize around 2017. I think I'm kind of okay with that level of power creep, really am. Next up, have you seen Elder Scale Worm? Do you love the number 7? Because it's the 7est. We're talking a 7 here and here and here and there and there. And in the Power and Toughness box, too. That's 7 7s. You just gotta love that. Now, for the OCD among us, there are actually 9 7s on this card. There's your mana cost and collector number. Now, the first I can easily explain away. That collector number, however, I mean, couldn't someone have checked that? I mean, I'm not OCD or anything. Promise 8 7s. Predatory Rampage is up next, and sup, Overrun? I heard you was splitting tan and moving on, and sowing your wild oats and all that, and instead we got ourselves an imposter in our midst. You're no Overrun. You're in fact rare, and don't feature the word trample anywhere. But regardless, I think we can all agree this card is similar in the game over factor. Either you're going to smash them with this, or you're getting a one-sided Wrath of God. Up next are 2 of the best cards in the set. Thragtusk, ladies and gentlemen, that's a real card. I mean, I know, doesn't actually look real. I mean, good lord. 5 life on the way in and a 3/3 on the way out. I mean, guys, I know we all love entering and leaving the battlefield triggers, but this seems a little, I don't know, absurd. Restoration Angel exists, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, Thragtusk supposedly punished Vapor Snags, whereas I see you naming Beast more often with your Cavern of Souls. This card seems perfect in Birthing Pod as a companion 5-drop in green-based aggro decks, and I mean, this thing is just pure value. There is no way you can really misplay this card and to not get a tremendous amount out of your 5 mana. I mean, you ever seen Dirkwood Boars? Yeah, 4/4 for 5. Or this. Your choice, really. Yeva, Nature's ability to flash and hunt Master of the Fells, is next. She is sweet, and I love everything about her. The power of blue was always instant speed craziness, and now Yeva can join in on the fun. Soon you'll be slapping down Huntmasters and Wolfbeer Silverhearts at their end of turn, or particularly during a juicy combat step. This card is pushed in just the right ways, and I'm hopeful she'll shine enough. Next, I want to talk about the ring cycle, because I'll tell you, at first I was skeptical. I mean, it looks so fiddly. Because the first ring was spoiled outside of its cycle from a Duels 2013 video or wherever it was, it alone made no sense. Why this random upkeep trigger to check for color again? Now that I see them all and I appreciate the flavor and uniqueness to each artifact, each color gets represented with a vanilla ability tied to their identity, and the flavor is sweet. I'm not sure if Sands of Delirium is just ridiculous and sealed, but any infinite mana combo just got its go-to card. So play this and loop that and make Infi and Sands on the death, right? So some power creep is welcome, and I'll tell you, Millstone, whew, you've seen some better days. Cathedral of War will wrap up this week's show, but hot diggity does it look sweet. As Flores correctly pointed out, often land effects are one-time deals, or require heavy upkeep to enjoy their services. Cathedral, it just enters the battlefield tap. That's it. You know, bees tapped. And once you untap, every single turn you enjoy a free +1/+1. And that land is not legendary, so opening with some colored mana and a guy and cathedraling every turn thereafter is a legitimate scary thing. Now that's our spoiler show, but rest assured there will be more awesomeness to come. The whole spoiler isn't here yet, but when it is, Brad Nelson and I will be sitting down for another set review, and I can't wait for that. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
I always like the fatties.